And drum roll for the live stream. I think I'm live. Yep, we're live, receiving your content. What is going on, everybody? Live over here on the YouTubes. Gonna answer the question in the title in just a minute, but just waiting for everybody to join in to the live stream. SKADJ, yo, what is going on? What's up, FG Prodigy? Man, you have been on point recently. I'm just telling you, you've been on point. Can everybody give me a good for the audio check? Just let me know the audio is doing good right now. Andrew Roberts, what's going on? Conservative Asian, hi, what is going on? Ever Shadow, hey. Danny Roberts, hey. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Hey, baby, I see you. I can also hear you listening to me in the other room. Kelly's listening to me in the other room. Audio is good. What's up? Pro Hockey, what's going on? Do you think the ACFT is more difficult than the current APFT? So the ACFT, which I'm going to get to the title in just a second. Let me refresh my page. But the ACFT, if you try your hardest, it's harder to max, but as I've said in my video, I talk and complain about the ACFT, it's easier to pass, but it's harder to max. That is the little key thing with the ACFT. I haven't taken the ACFT yet, but from looking at the standards, like if I were to just want to pass, I think it would be easier to pass. Mainly because of the runtime being ridiculously low. But anyways, we got enough people in here. The topic of this video, ever since I made that video where I told you guys to start preparing for the ACFT, a lot of people have been asking me questions like, hey, I'm leaving for basic training at this time. Am I going to be taking the ACFT? And the honest answer is obviously, I can't tell you with 100% certainty, but basic training is one of those places where they implement things in the Army first, right? And so if you are leaving and you are going to basic training after October 1st of this year, then I would expect to be doing the ACFT PT test, right? So I would expect to be doing the ACFT PT test if you are leaving after October 1st of this year. Pretty much, honestly, if you're leaving right now, you're probably going to be doing it because they're going to be doing it throughout the Army. It's just going to be fully implemented, or it's supposed to be fully implemented by October of next year. So basic training, they're going to hit those people first. ACFT equals American Ninja Warrior tryouts. I don't think so. There's not really any pull-up stuff. American Ninja Warrior, if you guys watch American Ninja Warrior, they have a lot of pull-ups, like pull-up related events. So if you're really good at pull-ups and bodyweight exercises, you're good. ACFT incorporates some other things. Mo Kazim, any last minute tips? First of all, I have a couple of videos on tips. So my last minute tip is, if you haven't watched those videos on my last minute tips, watch those videos. And I even have a video called last minute tips. But really, my last minute tip, if you're leaving like super soon, is just enjoy your last little bit. If you haven't gotten off of caffeine or tobacco or anything like that, I would suggest trying to get off of it before going to basic training. And then, as I always say, I think I said this last live stream, watch out who you make friends with right away, because if you get in with the wrong crowd at the beginning of basic training, your drill sergeants are going to associate you with the wrong person, and you don't want to do that. But have you practiced the ACFT? I haven't practiced it because I don't have the equipment for it, and my next PT test at my unit is August, September, October. I think it's in October. So I might take it. I'm not sure. I will find out soon though if I'm actually taking it. Saints Paranormal Investigations. That is a long YouTube username. You are actually recommended to me in the YouTube notification. I'm assuming because all the Navy videos I've been looking up. How you doing, boss? I'm doing great. How are you doing? But that's weird if you weren't subscribed and you got a notification. Maybe somebody who was watching on your account or something, they were smart and hit the notification bell button, which is just like a ridiculous thing that people have to do now. I really don't understand why YouTube is doing it, because like if you subscribe to somebody, it's like you want to watch one of their videos, but it's like, I know you subscribe to somebody, but you gotta hit the notification bell to show that you like really, really are subscribed to them. So it's like another level that YouTube did for like some crazy reason. Like they can't just see like who you're watching. Like it's ridiculous. Hey, chicken nugget, what? Kurt I, what's up? Ernesto Torres, 101st is wild. Definitely ain't ready to head back to JRTC. Especially since I'm 11 bang bang. You'll be fine if you just got there. I'm sure you'll get used to the whole lifestyle there. Kelly, you're hot too. Difference between new army versus old army. So one really big difference between new army and old army is, in a way, like a lot of people say that like the new army is weaker and blah, blah, blah. But kind of like just how the world is going is everybody's really sensitive, right? And so because of that, there's been all of this, there's been all of these claims and stuff in the military. And because of those things, the Army is implementing all these different online trainings that we have to do. So a big difference, in my opinion, especially with the technology, is there's a lot of online trainings that you have to do now that honestly take up a lot of your time. And if you're in the reserves or the National Guard, I mean, there's so many trainings that you have to do on your weekends, and sometimes it'll take up an entire day. And I know 20, 30 years ago, they didn't really have to do as many of those things. So that definitely is a big difference. I don't think things are necessarily softer, but I do think that, you know, you can't get away with as much, right? So, like, my grandfather was in the Navy. He tells me all the time about all these stories of him being in the Navy, and basically he was one of those guys who screwed around. He wasn't he wasn't as good of a person back then as he is now, and he would talk about how his NCOs and stuff would literally just like punch him and stuff. And like those were back in the days when, you know, if something was going wrong, you would fight and you would settle it that way. Like people would get in fights and there was really no punishment. But now, if you get into a fight, more than likely there's going to be some pretty severe punishment for that, whether it's an Article 15 or your rank getting taken away. So that's a big thing. So you got a bunch of trainings now that are not useless, but I don't want to say anything about that. And then you got, you know, more consequences now than you had back then, which makes people more cautious, which means that people have to be more sensitive to other people's feelings. Max Zoll, what's going on, my guy? I'm doing good. Just live streaming to you guys on this beautiful, rainy Tuesday night. Once I'm done with my bachelor's degree, I want to become an officer, and I'm not in ROTC. What training will I have to do, and do I have to go back to basic, or can I just go straight to OCS? So, a common misconception that, number one, I had before I knew anything about the military is people always say, you enlist in the military. If you don't have a 4-year degree, you enlist in the military. If you have a 4-year degree, then boom, you go into the military and you're an officer. It's not really the case, right? So people make it seem like, oh, I have a 4-year degree, I'm going to be an officer. But you still have to do extra training and stuff. So if you have your 4-year degree and you don't want to do ROTC, then you can do OCS. You can enlist and get OCS in your contract. You're still going to have to go to basic training first, right? You're still going to have to go to basic training first, and then you'll go to OCS. So there's no way to really skip basic training. Even if you're doing ROTC, there's still like it's not like a basic training. I mean, you can go to basic camp if you, I can talk in real detail about this, but basic camp for ROTC is like the basic training equivalent. And then you have advanced camp for ROTC, which is it's like basic training without the drill sergeants, and you have officers instead of drill sergeants, but also the stuff that you're doing is at a higher level, right? Because that basic training, it's just real basic stuff. Like you're taking civilians and you're trying to teach them the Army ways. Basic camp for ROTC is like that. You're taking civilians, college people, college students, and you're trying to teach them the Army way. And then you go to advanced camp, which is but it's your last big commissioning requirement for ROTC. You do it your junior to senior year summer, and you don't have drill sergeants, but you have officers, and you're basically put in really high stress situations, and you are leading because that's what you do as officers. So anyways, but yeah, you're going to have to go to basic training. There's no way around going to basic training if you're not doing ROTC or going to an academy. Seth Mitchell 280. What's good, Matt? You're a huge inspiration to me. Helped me become a 25 Bravo, and now I'm stationed with 160th. Thank you, man. 100. Hashtag signal leads the way. That is definitely true. Signal leads the way. I don't know if y'all will ever figure this out, but pretty much every branch of the military or every MOS leads the way. I just think it's funny. It's like Rangers leads the way, and you got like Cav Scouts saying they lead the way. Then you got field artillery, all these different jobs, and everybody leads the way because everybody wants to be the most important job in the military. How tall am I? I am 5'10". What's poppin', bro? I'm doing good. Is there any chance you know anyone in 91 Alpha and could do a Q&A with them? There are only 5 or so videos on it on YouTube, most under 2 minutes. I do not know anybody, but the thing is with doing videos with other people, from what I've understood, some people are just a little bit too nervous to do YouTube videos. You gotta do a little bit of convincing. New member. We got a new member. Dark Matter. What is going on? Thank you so much for becoming a member of this channel and supporting this channel and supporting me in everything that I'm doing. I really appreciate it. I started working on some new emblems for you guys. So if you do become a member, you get new emblems as the time that you're gone. I just saw Luke. What is going on? He is he's like a veteran member. So I'm trying to make a new emblem for him. And it kind of shows you your elite status for doing that. And then we got Sebas Asea. I can't pronounce that. Thank you. You provide such accurate information, and part of my influence on joining the Army is because of you and all your videos. You lead by example. I'm going to MEPS next Tuesday and Wednesday. 11 X-ray is the goal. That is awesome. That is a great goal. But thank you. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for saying I have accurate information, because that is true. That is what I'm trying to tell you guys, because one of the things that you get when you ask people about the military, sometimes you might ask friends, family members, people who've been a long time ago. A lot of times there's exaggeration, and I'm just trying to tell you guys, how it is. And that's what I've done in all these videos, and I've told you guys my experience, so I really appreciate it. How am I and my fiance? We're doing great. She's in the other room mixing up some avocados. She was just on here. I was trying to get her to be on the video, but she said maybe not. But we're doing great. We just booked our venue for our wedding, so that is great. Big step. Aerosol, Dark Matter, not a problem. Oh, we got another new member, the Sebas Azai, that I totally ruined the name. Thank you so much for also becoming a new member. I appreciate it. Literally more than y'all realize. It's so crazy to me, but I appreciate it a lot. If you want to re-enlist in the Army, but I want to choose a different MOS, do I just talk to a recruiter? So, yes and no, right? So, if you are in the Army and you enlisted, right? So, if you enlisted, and I've got a video on changing your MOS, so you might want to look at that one if I don't explain it good enough here. But if you want to change your MOS, if you're still in your contract, right? So, if your contract is not over, you can look at the different MOSs that need to be filled, right? So you got overstrength and understrength MOSs The overstrength ones, you can't join into those. If you wanted to switch to that MOS, if it's overstrength, they're not going to let you because they already have enough people. If it's understrength and that's the MOS that you want, and you want to re-enlist into that MOS, then more than likely they're going to let you do that. But one of the ways to help better your chances, if you really, really want a certain MOS, is if you let your contract expire, and then now you're a civilian, and then you go back to the recruiter's office and then re-enlist, and you're not going to have to go back to basic training again. That's something that you might be worried about. But if you let your contract expire, I don't know how many years it is, but it's several years, right? And if you re-enlist in that period of time, you don't have to go to basic training again. So that is one option, is letting your contract expire and then re-enlisting, going to a recruiter's office. The other option is seeing which MOSs are overstrength and understrength. If the MOS that you want is understrength, then more than likely you'll get to switch over to it. And we got Hiram Bifidum. These names, I cannot pronounce them, I'm sure. Would U.S. Army Recruiting, aka Liberty Bell Division, still have a record on illegal move I resorted to for a second chance at ASVAB I took after over 20 years? What does that mean? Still have a record on my illegal move I resorted to for a second chance at an ASVAB I took after over 20 years. I'm not sure if I quite get the question, because you can take the ASVAB again. Just because you join the military doesn't mean that you can't take the ASVAB again. Like, you can still take the ASVAB again, because sometimes you might join to an MOS and then later on you want to switch to a different MOS like I was just talking about, but that MOS has a higher score that you need to get. So you can retake the ASVAB, and if you meet that standard, then you can switch over to that MOS if it's available, if it's something that you can do. But I'm not sure if they would still have it on your record. If it's a military record, I'm not 100% sure. Vanna Wang. Hi, is it true that if you join the reserves or National Guard, you have to do ROTC for school? No, you don't. I don't know where you heard that, but you do not have to do ROTC, right? So if you join National Guard or Army Reserves and you go to school, I mean, if they have ROTC, it's just like other classes. Like, you do not have to take it. There's no reason why you should take ROTC unless you want to become an officer, or I'm not sure. I mean, there are people out there who take ROTC classes, I guess, just to familiarize themselves with the military a little bit better. But I don't understand. I mean, I guess it's an easy class. Like, if you just take the class portion of ROTC in college, it's fairly easy. Because if you're not trying to take the commission, you don't have to do these extra requirements. But I don't know why you would take ROTC without wanting to become an officer. But there are people who do it. I guess the other reason is if you do take ROTC all the way through college and you don't commission, you get a minor. You get a minor in military science. So that's a pro. I know some people did that. Why it D8S? Why it D8s? I don't understand. Huge inspiration for me. Oh, where'd it go? Huge inspiration for me to finally make the decision to join the National Guard as a 13 Fox. That is my brother's MOS. So hopefully you watched that video with him. Going to MEPS this Wednesday, then RSP while I complete my next semester before basic. Any chance of RSP video? For the National Guard, probably won't have an RSP video anytime soon unless I have somebody who's actually gone there. But I don't think you should worry about it too much at all. And then we got Harif Bifidum again. They were given a half truth. I told them I took ASVAB, but I was never disqualified at MEPS with Marines. They didn't push the issue. Let me read your first question. Still have a record on an illegal move I resorted to for a second. I'm still trying to figure out what's the illegal move. They were given a half degree. I told them I took the ASVAB, but I was never disqualified at MEPS with Marines. They didn't push the issue. I mean, all right, so number one, for what you're saying, is I wouldn't stress too much about it because it's not really anything like super duper serious. But I'm not getting it. Is it possible to do 2 MOSs such as 25 uniform and 25 Bravo? Those MOSs are pretty darn similar. And instead of having like 2 MOSs, they would probably just like cross train you and you would just know some of the other things. But I do believe you can have you can have your primary and secondary MOS. So I guess you could. But in that situation, your specific situation, they would more or less just cross-train you. How do they decide who goes to Iraq? Vicious Sato, that is about off screen right here. That's way above my pay grade. I mean, I have no clue. I do know that whenever deployments and things come around, you have a timer, like a time ticker on your, I don't know, wherever your Army information is for each person in the military, and every day that goes by, that is just counting how long it's been since you've been deployed. And if you let's say you have 2 people who are completely equal, and if you have one person who hasn't been deployed in 4 years and you have one person who hasn't been deployed in 2 years, they're going to pick the person who hasn't been deployed in 4 years. That's generally the way that works if you're in that situation. But you got some high-up generals somewhere, some really high-up people making decisions on what divisions and stuff to deploy, and then what support battalions and things that they need, and then what support companies and stuff that they need. So, it's definitely a lot of decision making going into it. And we got the Hayseed Kid with the $1 super chat. You can't write anything with the $1 super chat, but I do appreciate it. How intimidating is MEPS? Kind of intimidating, but then at the same time, if you're not lying and you're not really stressing about anything major, it's just whatever, right? They really stress to you that like you're gonna go to jail if you lie or whatever, to make you intimidated, but it's really not that big of a deal. But some people, in situations like that, it's difficult for them. So, to anyone reading the stream, do not do what I did. I always recommend, telling the truth. That's great, because whenever you tell the truth to your recruiters and all that stuff, then you don't have to worry about going to MEPS. And then the doctor telling you you're going to go to jail if you're lying to him about something that you're lying to him about, but you don't want to tell him because you don't want to get sent home. Just avoid that stress and just tell them the truth. But at the same time, don't tell them the truth about things that don't matter at all. Like, if your mom told you she dropped you when you were a kid, and that's not on your records anywhere, don't tell the MEPS guy that your parents dropped you when you were a kid. Like, if they're like, oh, what's this little thing on your head? And you don't even know what it is, and you're like, oh, it could be from when my parents dropped me when I was a kid. Like, don't say that, because then they're going to send you back home, and, it's crazy. Sebas Azai, not sure I understand what you said there. But yeah, they'll send you home for anything at MEPS. Do you plan on becoming a general? Shadow 123. No. I would like to retire as a lieutenant colonel. The reason being is, if you want to become a general, it's really hard. It's number one, it's just really freaking hard, and then number two, there's a bigger list of things that you have to accomplish in your military career to even be considered for that, and you have to really dedicate your Army life to becoming a general if that's what you want to do. And I'm not that committed to wanting to become a general because, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. I clicked send before I typed. Like, for example, if you've been in a car accident, etc. Yeah, exactly. Matt, do you know what the weekend drills are like for 91 Bravo? Just curious, going into the National Guard. So one of the videos and things that I want to talk about is kind of clarifying Army Reserves and Army National Guard drills and how I would say even more so than active duty units, what you do on your drill weekends or on your day-to-day is highly dependent on the type of unit that you're in, right? So my first unit was a transportation battalion, and my current unit is a civil affairs battalion, okay? So the things that you do in a transportation battalion is different than a civil affairs. One of them needs more signal soldiers than the other. My civil affairs battalion, we have a lot more signal soldiers. We have a actual structured S6 shop. So for any other MOS in the military, you might have a certain MOS like I did as a 25 Bravo, but then when you go to drill at a transportation battalion, there's not much 25 Bravo stuff to do. You get what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of luck of the draw. If you're going to a unit and that the branch of that unit is the same branch that you are in, then yeah, you're going to get to do your job and you're going to be great, and that is a great situation for you to be in. So if you're a signal soldier and you're going to a signal company, that's really good. That is really good because you're going to get to do signal stuff. So anyways, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a video on that. I'm not sure how I can do it because there's no concrete, the question that pretty much everybody who's joined the military wants to ask and wants the answer to is, what's the day-to-day life for this MOS? What's the drill weekend like for this MOS? And the answer is there's no answer to that because there are a ton of different units across the Army, and each unit has a different mission. Each unit is composed of different MOSs. They have different equipment. They have different personnel. They have all kinds of different stuff. And so, again, you know, you can have somebody with the same MOS, same time in service, same rank in one unit, and in a different unit, their day-to-day is completely different. So that's a really tricky question to answer besides just saying, oh, it depends. So, anyways. If my stream is frozen, refresh the page. I watch it on another... I have it going on another thing, so if it freezes and stuff, then I can tell what is going on. Dark Matter, one of our newest members. Army versus Air Force. I have a $50 size tattoo behind my ear. Do I need to remove it? Yeah, you're going to need to remove it. If it's, again, above your neck or below your wrist, you're going to need to remove it. $50 size, so about this big. I mean, I think that shouldn't be too tough to remove, but I know a lot of people have gotten tattoos removed, but that's still pretty big. But I know of a lot of people who have just like tiny little things behind their ears that had to get them removed. But Dark Matter, yeah, I'm about 99% certain you're going to have to do that. Future 25 Sierra here. Xander Fleming. It's a good MOS. It's a good MOS. Congratulations on that. Hey Matt, going to Fort Benning in August. How to survive? Noel Campbell. So you're going in August, so it's gonna be really hot. Drink water, and then going to Benning. One of the worst parts about Benning is 30th AG. The reception battalion sucks at Benning. It just sucks, and like you can ask a ton of people who go to Fort Benning. 30th AG just sucks. But for the most part, going to Benning and going to any other basic training area, like you just do what you got to do and then go on to the next day and then go on to the next day. And one of the ways to kind of get through it is, and to help it feel like it's moving faster, is if you're always kind of looking forward to the next meal. So you go to PT in the morning, you get back, you change, you go to breakfast. You go to breakfast, you get back, you get your uniform on, you get your gear ready to go, you get on the buses, and you go to your training. You come back and you go to lunch. Or you stay out there and go to lunch. But if you keep kind of looking forward to the next meal, for me, it helped time go by a little bit faster. Bellin Jr. with the $4.99 super chat. I'm going to Fort Sill August 20th for basic training. 91 Bravo. I am at 21% BMI and can run a mile in 8 minutes. Any tips for the fitness and my MOS? Hold on. So, if you are kind of anxious, if you are, you're leaving in a month, I think you could still get your run time down a little bit. You can still get your BMI down at least another % or so. So that's really good. If you're wanting to, it seems like you're focused on your run times a lot. So losing that weight is going to help. But yeah, so losing your weight is going to help a lot. When you get to basic, that could also be a concern. And so at the beginning, you might want to focus on losing that weight a little bit, because later on, you're going to really want to be eating those calories because you're going to be doing a whole lot more stuff. But keep up, because like what you're quoting right there, it seems like you're definitely trying to lose the weight and stuff, and you're succeeding. So definitely keep up what you're doing. God bless you, Matt. Thanks for answering me. Noel, you're welcome. Brant T, yeah, you're behind me, but I'm not sure who you're talking to. I'm craving pizza so bad right now. Papa Flying, yeah, order me some pizza, because I will eat pizza all day, every single day. Every day. I think I'm going to be getting off of here in a little bit, because I'm about to go and eat some food. Kelly's cooking some salmon and some rice and asparagus and stuff, which is great. I'm looking super no pizza. I know you're cooking supper. Can you talk about Army divers? Shadow 123, I don't know anything about Army divers. Which is why I think, maybe I can make a slight difference in the military and tell some people to make videos on their MOS and the day-to-day life for their specific situation in their unit. Because the more stuff that's out there, I think the better. Is CrossFit good for getting ready for basic? Yes, I think CrossFit is really good for getting ready for basic. Even more so than just doing like regular weightlifting. It's really good. Just make sure you're doing your full-on running too. Yeah, Kelly's in the other room right now. Can you fail the APFT and still graduate basic training? You have to pass at least one MOS. You're supposed to pass the last one, but you do have to pass at least one. So like I said, you have to pass at least one APFT, or it's about to be ACFT. Matt, can I get a bonus if I'm going to sing with RTC after AIT? Sign with RTC. This is a tricky question that I know there's like contract stuff behind it. So my specific situation is I got my bonus. I haven't gotten my full bonus because I did become an officer. So I got 3/4 of my bonus. And then I didn't get the rest of that because I didn't fill out my entire enlistment contract. So I'm not sure how it'll work, because from what I've read on it is if you get a bonus and you switch and do all this stuff or whatever, basically if you get a bonus but you don't fulfill the full contract, you get to keep the bonus part that's like proportional, I guess, to your the contract that you filled out. So that's like a really, really tricky question, and something that honestly I don't know the exact answer to, that a recruiter might and a recruiter might not, because that's just one of those tricky paperwork. Some finance person is going to have to know the answer to that one. I don't know. Jorge Cuevas Jr. Hey, Matt, been following you since August last year when I decided to join. Graduated from basic training last Thursday. That is awesome. Congratulations. That is freaking awesome. Your videos were pretty helpful. Thanks again. I appreciate it. As long as, so a big thing for my videos is if it helps you with your mindset, that's good. Like if one of my tips helps you, that's good. But if your mindset is in the right place when you're going to basic training and you're not totally scared and you have a little bit of an idea of what to expect, honestly, it's like, I think it's really good, which is, one of the reasons why I'm doing that. I asked a question at 7:44 p.m. Hold on one second. Weston Tank. Hey, Matt, have you met any chaplain's assistants? I have known a chaplain's assistant before they were a chaplain's assistant. There was one guy in my basic training platoon who was going to be a chaplain's assistant, but we went separate ways after basic training. I'm looking for your video or your question, but I don't see it. Is there such a list as a dream list of some sort for where you want to travel? Also adding to the question, can you choose what base to go to after training? So yes, that is true, right? You can't do it like initially, right? So you're going to have to do your initial contract and everything, or not your initial contract. You're going to have to do your first duty station. Your first duty station is just going to be given to you. After that, like if you decide to re-enlist or if you get sent somewhere else, you will put like your top 3 duty stations that you want to go to. So if you want to go to Germany, if you want to go to Italy, if you want to go to Alaska, if you want to go to Japan, like you can put all of those different places on there as your dream list for where you want to go in order. And you're not always going to get it, right? You're not always going to get it. But, if the possibility is there and that's your number one, then boom, you're going to go there. So yes, that's possible, but you're not going to do that on your initial duty station. But after that, you can. For officers, it's a little bit different for officers because it is called ADSO. So if you commission in the Army and you want to go to a specific duty station, maybe it's near where you live, maybe it's somewhere overseas that you want to go, and you branch ADSO, which basically means that this is the duty station that you want to go to. If you get that duty station, then it adds 2 years to your contract. That's only for officers. And if you don't get that duty station, it doesn't add 2 years to your contract. So I've talked about that before. But anyways. Is there an MOS where you can learn a new language? I don't think there's an MOS dedicated to learning a new language. But if you do learn a new language, it will help you in the military as far as like extra pay and stuff. Because if your language that you know is a important language for your unit, then it will pay well, right? So for the Army, so my unit in the Army Reserves, my unit is in Houston, Texas, and we are in charge of like South America, right? So that means that Spanish is a key language, right, for South America, which means that unlike, if your unit is in charge of the Middle East, Spanish is not common. But Spanish for my unit is. So if you know Spanish and you're fluent in Spanish and you can pass the test, then you get paid an extra, depending on what level you are, a couple $100s a month, up to several $100s a month extra just for knowing Spanish, right? So learning another language is important. Weston Tank, I'm going to answer this and I'm going to be getting off of here in literally just a minute. So, hey, I'm joining after I graduate college. Do I get any other benefits besides rank that I can get for having that degree? So if you're joining after college and you're just enlisting, then yes, you're gonna become a specialist. The other thing that you're gonna get is promotion points for whenever you want to become a sergeant, or even a staff sergeant. So that's pretty much it. You get that initial rank boost to an E4, which technically sets you up 2 years ahead of other people, or people who come in with no experience at an E1. And then you get promotion points, which having that 4-year degree is honestly going to help you a lot if you want to stay in, if you want to become an NCO and you want to become a sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant first class. Having that degree is really important, because at that point you're pretty much building your resume to get promoted, and so having that 4-year degree is going to help. Enjoy supper. Yes, I'm definitely going to enjoy this. And Phoebe Bannister, glad to be a part of the team. Thank you for being a part of the team. Thank you for joining and becoming a member, hitting that join button. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you guys want to really make my day, you can go and pick up this t-shirt at the store. I did some remodeling stuff on the store, so the new header, it kind of looked stupid before. But my new store header at shopmw.store, I redid it to where it looks like that. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, there we go. So, I was working on that today. Which, I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks cool. But anyways, thank you so much. Oh. Yeah, tomorrow's video, I am going to talk about the chances that you're going to die in the military. So I made a video on like what happens if you hate the military, but tomorrow's video is like, I literally basically say the statistics, like what are the odds that you're going to die? Check it out. It's pretty, I think it's pretty interesting. Anyways. You don't have a credit card, you got a debit card, you got PayPal, you got Apple Pay. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great one. Thank you for coming out for the live stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the new members joining the Matt Ward squad. I don't really know what to call it. Maybe I should come up with something. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later.